So we're out on the golf course and we've got some driver testing for you, and two heavyweight drivers for 2022. TaylorMade Stealth up against the Callaway Rogue ST. So two of the more forgiving drivers offering, we're going to play them on the golf course. We're going to compare these two in different playing situations and maybe see if one has got the edge over the other. Okay, so kick things off with the TaylorMade Stealth. So this is the Stealth, not the Stealth Plus, so non-adjustable, the more forgiving version of the two. Obviously done an in-depth review of this, you can go and check that out for more detailed numbers, but this is going to be on the golf course playing situation. So obviously loads of tech. It's a massive talking point for the driver category for 2022, this red carbon face, 60 layers of carbon. I personally love the look of it, I love the feel of it, I love the flight of it. Maybe not seeing the ball speed gains that possibly TaylorMade are sort of stating, but we'll see what happens on the golf course. That's a good hit. Very high ball flight on that one, but that's a very straight hitting shot. And again, I feel like the Stealth was quite a nice forgiving driver. We saw some good accuracy on those slight miss hits. It's a fantastic feel. I really love the feel and the sound of this golf club. And then moving into the Callaway, the Rogue ST Max. So this is their most forgiving driver that they are offering. A recent review video of this, I was mega impressed with this as well. You know, typically the Max, I would always associate high launch, a little bit higher spin. Maybe for those golfers who don't have as much speed, looking for ultimate forgiveness, launch and keeping that ball in the air. I was really surprised with the spin number on this. It was really quite a controlled spin and some fantastic ball speed. So obviously titanium face against the carbon face, interesting, isn't it, the way these are going. Big footprint down by the golf ball. We've got this speed cartridge at the back, again pulling weight. We've got carbon and heel and toe as well as the crown, again saving weight, redistributing it. So let's give this one a hit. As I say, bigger footprint behind the golf ball in comparison to that TaylorMade. Matte black finish, which does look very good and sits very square. Okay, just a little bit peely up the right hand side, so not quite as straight on that particular hit in comparison to the TaylorMade, but again the feel and the sound are amazing. And again, that was something I was really impressed with. That it's nothing absurd with those feels, you know, it's really dialed into what I would like to sort of hear, in a very solid contact, probably a little bit of a firmer feel off the club face in comparison to Stealth. Let's have a walk up and see where those two drives have gone. So I think it's an interesting one in terms of the marketing side of things of these brands. Obviously they're going to have to sell drivers, aren't they? So they tend to have a real big marketing push prior to maybe in the embargo lifting. You know, you see little leaks out and you maybe see little glimpses on tour of the drive. And I think TaylorMade again have absolutely smashed it on that front. You know, that red face, they're not daft, are they? It's a marketing ploy. You see it on TV. You know, it's a black head now, isn't it? So you look at a black golf driver on tour, it could be anything, could it? But when you see a red face, you know exactly it's a TaylorMade. So huge talking point. Again, as we always hear with them, big claims. So I think winning on the marketing side of things, TaylorMade have got it. We know that even in store, since the sort of embargoes have lifted, everybody's coming in, everybody's asking about the TaylorMade. Nobody's asking about Callaway, very few indeed. So Callaway maybe just a little bit quieter on that front, I think. So it's an interesting one. You know, would you be pulled towards trying a TaylorMade because of the hype that you hear? Post comments down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so as we're walking up now, we've got the TaylorMade right in the middle of the fairway, pretty much here. So this red flag is a wintergreen, proper flag's just a little bit further on. So there's the TaylorMade on the fairway. Now the Callaway did go a little bit right. Okay, and here is the Callaway. So obviously missed the fairway. The TaylorMade is probably about 10 yards further on in that direction on the fairway. So those particular shots, TaylorMade winning accuracy and a little bit of distance, but to be fair, I did strike TaylorMade a little bit better. Okay, there's a nice little pitch in. So much closer with that shot. The advantage of being a little bit closer to the green and obviously coming from the fairway against the rough. So question to you guys, let me know your thoughts. You go for a driver fitting, you may be thinking of Stealth, you're thinking of maybe the Callaway or any new product for 2022. What's your main objective in that fitting? Are you purely looking on distance, you know, again against all the marketing hype, or are you sort of wanting to sort of see some dispersion tightness as well? You know, for me, I think it's obviously a little bit of both. Dispersion is, I think, is as equally as important. You know, obviously distance is great, but typically that that will come from a bit of a technique, won't it, in terms of how you control your path and club face, and also your strike on the club face. Again, how you dial a club in, whether it's your shaft length, sort of lie of the golf club as well as loft, will help with those elements of controlling strike and accuracy. So back into the Stealth. We're on the 3rd hole now at Appleby Golf Club in Cumbria. Beautiful today. It's very, very cold, but it's a stunning place to be. Great for winter golf around here, all full greens. And again, super strike. It is on that higher ball flight side of things. Obviously the plus is a little bit more lower launch. And again, that looks to be on the fairway. Have a look when we get up there. Who would like to sort of see some dry ball data in the studio against these two drivers head to head? Hit the like button if you want to see that video. Okay, so Callaway Rogue ST Max. Oh, that's a great strike. Slightly further right in relation to the Stealth, but the fairway just slope a little bit left, but that was a super ball flight. Little bit lower in relation to the Stealth there, even though this got this weight at the back. The loft is still 9 degrees, same as Stealth, little bit more penetrating, super sound again. Okay, this could be an interesting one. Both struck really well there. Stealth slightly higher ball flight, maybe just coming on this slight right to left wind, so you might think that might have a little bit more of an edge. The Callaway just stayed a little bit out straighter, slightly up the right edge of the fairway. Both really good shots. Be really interested to see which one's longer. Okay, so first one, there we go, we've got them both now. So this one is the TaylorMade fairway, left half of the fairway. Again, the red flag is a winter green, yellow flag's just a bit further on there. That's the TaylorMade. Probably about 20 yards further on, there's the Callaway. Right half of the fairway, and actually a better line in. Okay, so let's pace this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's the Callaway level. Good 16 yards further. We'll just take a minute here just to absorb this scenery up in Cumbria at Appleby Golf Club. Really, really stunning. The hills in the background. Yeah, it's a cold, fresh day, but these greens are superb for the time of the year. Right, okay, so just skipped a couple of holes. Now on the 6th hole at Appleby. Quite an inviting tee shot, elevated tee. We can see all of that fairway, hills in the background. This will look good on Shot Tracer. Tough wind this now. It's strong wind off the left, so typically a hard wind for me. I'm not really a drawer of the golf ball with the drive. I always probably see it neutral to, if anything, a slight sort of left to right. So if I get this cut in off to the wind, I can sort of lose control of this quite quickly sometimes. So up with the Stealth again. I'm just going to try and hit this a little bit down this left-hand side. Okay, that was a bit of a low heely one. It's cut a bit with obviously that heel strike. Can't quite see that land, but we'll have a look when we get down. Probably just right edge of the fairway, possibly. So as we know that, you know, look at these misfits is also important, isn't it? Sometimes you go to that fitting environment, you want to be hitting it out the middle all the time, don't you? But at the end of the day on the golf course, I'm going to get strikes like that. A little bit low heel miss. It's a typical one of mine. What does it do in this type of wind? How does that sort of ball flight be controlled? You know, obviously a lot of work with weight back, high MOI. That's trying to reduce this sort of twisting, obviously this sort of gear effect. Okay, so the Rogue ST. Oh, that's a good strike. Again, just drifting a little bit left to right, which I'm going to see. Much better on that connection. Yeah, and again, that's just up that right, probably right fringe of the rough there. So maybe a little argument there with the TaylorMade. Obviously it's got twist face, hasn't it? So that slight low heel, which is sometimes a miss for a lot of golfers, that face is sort of de-lofted and it's pointing a little bit more sort of left of target. So starts it going a lot more left, a little bit less loft in that part of the club face with twist face to try and control spin so it doesn't spin up and sort of gear to the right as much. Did that help me out on there? I don't know. Do you know what? It's so. I think that's just such a tough one to try and sort of measure in this sort of game situation. Even on a TrackMan, you know, how can you sort of measure that? It's very difficult because every delivery is going to be slightly different. Strike points just going to be very fractionally different, and that's going to create different sort of launch and spins. So there's the Callaway. There's the pitch mark. Pretty much landed where it is, just in the sort of semi-rough. And there's my TaylorMade Stealth where the bag is. So it's probably a good, again, 20 yards further back there. Now, obviously, difference of strike, but TaylorMade is in the fairway. The Callaway is in the rough just. Right, okay, so there's a little bit of on course with those two drivers. You know, 3 drivers hit with the TaylorMade, 3 fairways hit. That's quite interesting, isn't it? 1 was a really bad strike, 2 really good strikes. Callaway has missed 2 fairways, and to be fair, I've hit all 3 of those pretty well, and we've got a little bit more distance on 2 of the shots against the 1 with the TaylorMade. It's a tough one. I think you've got to keep testing these, haven't you? Okay, appreciate watching the video, and we'll see you next time.